there's a quiet kind of person the world often misunderstands. The one who prefers the dim glow of a lamp over the flashing lights of a club. The one who finds peace, not in crowds, but in corners, with a book, a cup of tea, and silence so deep it almost hums. People often look at them and think, they're lonely. But what if they're the ones who've actually found what the rest of us spend our whole lives searching for? Peace. You see, society has built a strange narrative around solitude. It celebrates the extrovert, the social butterfly, the life of the party, while quietly labeling the homebody as antisocial, boring, or even afraid of life. But what if staying at home isn't about escaping life, but understanding it more deeply? When someone chooses to stay at home, it doesn't always mean they're hiding from the world. Sometimes it means they've seen enough of it to know that the world inside them is vast enough. Let's go deeper. Imagine you wake up on a Sunday morning. The sunlight spills softly through your curtains. There's no noise, no rush. Just you, your thoughts, and the quiet ticking of a clock. In that moment, you're not performing for anyone. You're not being judged, liked, or disliked. You simply exist. Raw, unfiltered, real. That, right there, is freedom. But modern psychology calls this introversion, a preference for lower stimulation environments. Introverts often draw energy from solitude, not because they dislike people, but because social interaction drains them. Every conversation, every crowd, every public smile, it costs energy, and home is where they recharge. Yet, there's something deeper here than just personality type. Staying at home can also be an act of self-preservation in a world that constantly demands attention. We live in a culture where busyness equals worth, where doing nothing feels like guilt. But those who love staying home, they've quietly rebelled against that system. They've chosen being overdoing. There's a beauty in that choice, because the homebody's world is not smaller. It's simply more inward. When they sit by the window watching the rain, they're not just staring blankly, they're thinking, feeling, reflecting. Their silence is not emptiness. It's a dialogue with themselves, and perhaps that's what frightens most people. Silence, because silence has a way of showing us who we really are. When you're alone at home, there's nowhere to hide from your thoughts, no social noise to drown them out. You face yourself, your regrets, your dreams, your fears, your truths, and that confrontation. It's not easy. So maybe the people who love staying at home aren't running away from life. Maybe they're brave enough to sit with it, to sit with the weight of their own existence without needing to distract themselves. In a way, they are philosophers in disguise, because philosophy begins where the noise ends, when the world quiets down enough for thought to echo. Have you ever noticed that most deep realizations don't come during conversation, but in solitude? It's in the silence of our rooms where ideas are born, where hearts heal, and where identities form. The home becomes a temple, not of isolation, but of introspection. But let's be honest, not all people who love staying home are peaceful sages. Some stay home because the world has hurt them, because out there they were made to feel too much, too different, too misunderstood. The world can be loud and harsh, a place that celebrates performance but neglects authenticity. And for sensitive souls, the home becomes a sanctuary, a space where they can breathe, without pretending. Yet even that kind of retreat carries its own quiet wisdom. When pain pushes a person inward, they often discover something extraordinary, a depth that most people never reach. They learn to find joy in small things, the sound of rain, the warmth of sunlight on the floor, the smell of coffee brewing in the morning. They develop a sensitivity to life's subtleties, to the kind of beauty that exists beyond words. Staying at home becomes less about avoiding people and more about reconnecting with oneself. It's a slow, sacred rhythm. Cooking your own meals, reading, writing, thinking, every act becomes meditative. And here's the paradox. When you spend enough time alone, you begin to understand others better. Because the more you know yourself, the more empathy you develop for the struggles and contradictions of being human. The person who spends nights reflecting in solitude often walks through the world with a quieter ego and a kinder heart. But let's look at it from another angle, the philosophical one. Thinkers like Nietzsche, Schopenhauer, and even Kierkegaard all celebrated solitude. Nietzsche called it the space where one becomes who they truly are. Schopenhauer believed that intelligent people tend to prefer solitude because they find fulfillment in their own thoughts rather than external distractions. And Kierkegaard, the melancholic philosopher, said that the crowd is untruth. To him, truth was something personal, discovered alone. It's interesting, isn't it, that throughout history, the greatest minds, the poets, the artists, the philosophers, all had a love affair with solitude, not because they hated the world, but because they saw it too clearly. And sometimes, when you see too much, you need distance to make sense of it. But there's another layer to this psychology, the spiritual one. Many people who love staying home experience life not horizontally, chasing external events, but vertically, diving inward. They may not travel much in miles, but they travel deeply within their minds. Every quiet night becomes a journey through memories, emotions, and realizations. Home becomes not a prison, but a portal, a space where you meet yourself again and again, each time discovering something new. And yet, there's a danger too. Too much solitude can blur the line between peace and detachment. When silence becomes a wall instead of a window, it can quietly isolate you from the pulse of life. There's a difference between choosing solitude and being trapped in it. The wise homebody understands this. They balance their inner world with small doses of the outer one. They might spend the week in solitude, but when they step outside, they notice things others miss. The rustle of leaves, the fleeting smiles of strangers, the poetry in passing moments. Their stillness has made them more awake to life, not less. You see, loving to stay at home doesn't mean rejecting the world. It means learning to meet the world differently, more slowly, more mindfully, more deeply. When others chase noise, they choose quiet. When others seek validation, they seek understanding. And maybe that's what makes them so rare. In a world full of restless motion, they are still. Think about it. Everywhere you look, people are running toward success, attention, recognition. But the homebody, they've stopped running. They've realized that the finish line isn't out there, it's within. When you're at home, sitting with your thoughts, maybe you realize something profound. That happiness isn't found in places, but in presence. That meaning isn't in movement, but in stillness. That the most intimate relationship you'll ever have is with your own soul. So next time someone says, you should go out more, you can smile softly, not because you disagree, but because you know something they don't. You know that sometimes the most beautiful journeys happen between your walls. That sometimes peace doesn't require a destination, only awareness. Because home is not just a space, it's a state of being. And those who love staying there have mastered the art of living slowly in a world that never stops running. Maybe they aren't avoiding the world. Maybe they're simply loving it quietly from the stillness of their own sanctuary. And maybe, just maybe, the people who stay home are not missing out on life. They are the ones who've actually found it. So tell me, are you one of them? Do you find your peace in the silence of your own space? Or does the silence still scare you? Because sometimes the answer to who you truly are begins right where the noise ends.